This is iCastNews.com, live and direct from the United Nations. I'm Linda FASULO, and welcome to State of Affairs. Joining me today is Afghanistan's Chief Envoy to the United Nations, Ambassador Zahir Tanin. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you very much for having me.
Ambassador, we know that the Taliban has warned that it was planning to disrupt the upcoming elections with as much violence as possible. And also this week, the UN itself, a guest house in Afghanistan was attacked, and 5 UN staff have been killed, many more injured. What do you think your government can do to better protect the UN in this draw up to the elections?
The security challenge for the election is not new. In the second round of the elections, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda tried to disrupt the elections. They attacked in a number of police stations. They killed people, and also they later continued to cut the finger or noses of people who voted. So they were determined to disrupt the elections in Afghanistan. And we now again heard that they would like to threaten the second round. And there was, as you said, a heinous terrorist attack against the UN personnel on October 28 in Kabul. At the same time, I think the Afghan security forces, the international forces, they explicitly expressed their determination that they will continue to secure the second round that's going to happen on 7th November.
A week from now.
A week from now. The Afghan security forces said that they are well prepared than before, and during the elections and after the elections, I mean the first round, they embarked on many security operations that would put them possibly in better position to protect the second round better than before.
Can you share with us, for example, what kind of better protection? I mean, what more do you think the Afghan government can do? Are you working, for example, together in better coordination with U.S. or NATO forces, or are they playing a role in the elections?
They play a central role, certainly. I think they work together to provide necessary security for the second round. These are the details that they know much better than us here.
Mm-hmm. I know that the Secretary General obviously was very concerned, has voiced great concern about the recent attack in Afghanistan. He's asking for the international community as well as your government to do more. I know you've met with him today. Has anything new developed in terms of the collaboration between Afghanistan and the UN?
In a normal situation, it is the role of the host government to provide security for the international agencies, including the United Nations. Mm-hmm. And that is what is happening in Afghanistan to the extent it's possible for the government of Afghanistan. During the attack on Wednesday, 2 Afghan policemen who were providing security for the guest house of the UN staff, they were killed. Mm-hmm. So they were the first people to be attacked before those staff of the UN that were later attacked, and some of them were killed and some others wounded. So we are there together. The Secretary General wanted the government of Afghanistan to do its utmost to provide the UN staff and also the UN activities with more security. And the government of Afghanistan is committed to do so. But it is also about the role of the international forces. As you know, our army and police are an emerging force that still need to be fully functioning army and police and apparatus. At the same time, there are international forces that are responsible for the security of the country against terrorists that still continue to attack the people of Afghanistan and the international forces there. So I think the call was not only for the Afghan government, for the international community. The Secretary General's call was also for more funding for the security of the United Nations. Mm-hmm. But the most important message of the Security Council, of the Secretary General, supported by the Security Council this week, and also by the General Assembly, was that these attacks will not stop the United Nations to continue its activities in Afghanistan. It is not going to weaken the determination of the international community in the United Nations, which was the aim of the terrorists to achieve.
Can you just talk a little bit about your assessment of the strength of the Taliban insurgency these days, and also the relationship with Al-Qaeda?
The Taliban, there's no doubt that they tried to gain the momentum. Mm-hmm. The number of attacks of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda was increased recently. They tried to expand some of their area of operations to some other parts of the country. During the elections, it seems that the Taliban tried to express or to show more military presence by heinous terrorist acts, murderous acts against people. There are reports that the number of Taliban in the last 3 years has increased from some 6,000 to 25,000, the figures that I cannot confirm. Mm-hmm. But if you assume, let's assume that if you have it to 25,000 Taliban, on the other hand, it was announced that the total number of the international force in Afghanistan are about 300,000. So if you look at these figures, then for any Talib fighter, you will have 12 international or national forces. So I don't think, I'm not personally convinced that the Taliban would relying mainly on IEDs and suicide attacks, they can be seen as a great challenge to the most sophisticated military machine of the time, NATO and the United States. But of course, with the tactics they use, they can disrupt the activities in Afghanistan. They can also, I think, present challenges for the international forces. Though I think this war is winnable. How long? I can say not very soon. But the debate about the Taliban as a great force to challenge the whole world it needs a little bit more reflection.
I see. So when you say the war is winnable, do you think it's winnable with the forces, the international forces that are there, or do you think that the Obama administration should send in more troops? Will those additional troops, do you think, have a great impact, a multiplier effect, so to speak?